Hey, good morning. Welcome to another edition of Jim Wilson's FNN Fishing News Network. And it's so much fun to be here every Saturday and join you. You think I can't see you, but I can look right out there and see what you all are doing. And I know most of you got your DVRs on so you can watch this later in the day, just like my dear wife Pat does. And she'd be here, except school started this week and now she is out there just working herself to death. She started the week out by being over in Calhoun County, Liberty County, and Gulf County, all in the same day. And then that followed up with Washington and Holmes County. And it's just been like that all week. She's got so much going on and so many. The thing is, the big problem for her is that once she gets to these different counties, it's not like going into one school. They've all got 3 or 4 different kind of schools. They got an elementary school, they got a kindergarten, they got a high school, a junior high, and she'll have one student in this one and 2 in that one and 1 somewhere else. And so she's picking up and packing and moving and going all, and the poor gal just works herself to death. And of course, as I always say, I don't get a honey-do list anymore, and now I get a lesson plan, and it includes very detailed information of things I need to do to help her out, which I love doing because she's doing all the heavy hitting now, and it's just we make a good team. So it's been pretty good. We've both been having a few medical issues. I had something recently. In case any of you out there are suffering with afibrillation, which means your heart doesn't beat at a steady rhythm, your pulse, in other words. And mine was just racing up and down all over the place. It'd be 60, and then in a little while it'd be 90, and then it'd go up to 100 and something, and then it'd drop down to 70. And it just fluctuate just like that. Well, that's called afibrillation. My doctor, Dr. Thompson Maynor, finally said, we're going to give you a cardio reversion. Well, I went and had that a couple of weeks ago, and here's what it does. They use the paddles like they use for shocking your heart, but instead of the big paddles, they have a stick on that goes on your chest and a stick on that goes on your back. Then you're sedated, and they use a very low voltage and shock your heart from both directions. Guess what it did? I now have a steady 56, just like it's supposed to be. Blood pressure stays right there. When I took it before we started this today, it was 117 over 76, 56 heartbeat. Can't beat it. So if any of you have been suffering from that, please look into it, because apparently it runs in my family. My daughter has had the problem, and she had a cardio reversion. My son Fletcher, who just got out of the hospital recently, he's got the problem, and he's looking into having it himself. It's totally painless, and it absolutely works. Now let's take a look and see what tides are doing for the day. If anybody can get out fishing, my gosh, have you ever seen any crazier weather? Every time you turn around and think you might go, then bam, up comes another rainy day or thunderstorm or something else, or heavy wind, and I've just never seen anything like it. And the fishing reports have not been that good. Occasionally they're getting some king mackerel, but everything is related to the bait, and there's not enough bait around. So anyway, as we move up into September, we'll be passing through there. We get to October, is the time the flounder will start to move from the Gulf out offshore. And had Ron Barwick over the other night for dinner. He and his wife, Pat, and I went for dinner. And he was talking about the fact that any of those close-in offshore wrecks or man-made reefs are holding flounder. And the key is bull minnows, just get them down there and be prepared. Now, on occasion, when that time of the year when I've been flounder fishing, all of a sudden, bam, I got a real fight on my hands, because suddenly it ain't a flounder, it's a blackfin tuna, probably in the 15, 20, 25 pound range. And when you're fighting that on a flounder rig, it's a fun battle, I can tell you. And so that's what goes on out there. But really, the fishing reports right now have not been terribly good, and we are looking forward to October 1st. We're going to get a break and get some more red snapper fishing, but it's just so frustrating now. If you do go out on a nice day and get out there on a reef, probably the first thing you're going to start catching is a nice big red snapper, and you have to throw them back. So that's just about what's going to be happening. I do want to remind you that one of my chosen household duties is to do all the cooking and all the grocery shopping. And I just love it. I've been doing it most of my life, and it saves for Pat because she gets home 6 o'clock, 5:30, 6 o'clock, gives her time to rest and relax and get ready for the next day, and it gives me time to cook dinner. I had Ron Barwick himself for dinner recently, and when I cooked were smoked chicken breasts. I've got a propane fire smoker that you load up. I use mesquite chips, and it takes about 2 hours, and those things come out so juicy, so tender, so perfect. It just couldn't be better. And so that's what I had recently. And of course we eat a lot of fish because we used to catch a lot of fish. We have been catching quite as many lately, but anyway. But along with it, we had sweet potatoes, zucchini and yellow squash and onions cooked together, fresh green beans, and where do you think I got them? Tanya's garden. She has all the fresh stuff, and corn on the cob, all the fresh stuff out there, and prices are so reasonable, 39 cents for bananas for a pound. It's so easy to find, and it's right across the street from Soul Tractor on Highway 77, just north of the mall. And finally, I'm going to be getting into my 17-foot square back canoe. I'm hauling it around on the trailer made for me by AMW Trailers. And if you're looking up in the phone book, it's Austin Machine Works. And my friend Noel Stafford that I fish with a lot, he needed to replace his wheels and tires. He went down and bought full set, 2 axles, 13-inch tires and rims and everything. So if you need any kind of parts, they have them. If you need a specialty trailer built, they can do it. If you need repairs, springs, whatever it is, right there in downtown Millville, next door, it's the blue building, that what used to be Millville Supermarket. It's got a new market coming in there one of these days. And please tell them, any of our sponsors, that you want to thank them and that you saw them here. For example, next week, Mike Nichols is going to be on. That's Nichols Insurance. And Mike, of course, is a city councilman. And one of the reasons we're here today is I want you to look over my shoulder, and you can see one of the big, big issues between the two zones. Mike is the city councilman for our ward, and he's the only one that voted against moving the ice machine here to St. Andrews. Now you can see it's a big white elephant down there, and once it's installed and once it's working, what they're going to do is build a big beautiful cement wall all the way around it, so that it'll be, the noise will be contained, and it also will not be an ugly eyesore. It'd be nice if we could have Paul Brent come down and do the same thing he did for the big water tank over there and paint nice murals on it. And I don't think it's going to create the problems that we thought, but it didn't start, by the way, with this commission. This deal was put together on this ice machine about, I think, almost 10 years ago, when the agreement was entered with the owner, I've forgotten his name, and the city to move it here. It's just taken that long, and finally the reason they're moving it now is because of all the improvements and everything they're doing to the city marina, and they wanted to move it out. So anyway, that's I think we covered about everything we can for this morning. And to tell you that what we got for video coming up, the first video is going to be one of me and Pat's son Adam and his wife Julie, and we're king mackerel fishing down off in South, and I'm trying to think of where we were. He was in Port St. Lucie. So we were right out from there, and it's me catching the biggest king mackerel that I've ever caught, and we let it go. And then following that up, we'll have some video of part of mine and Pat's big adventure that was 2 years ago this month on our 10-day cruise to Italy and Croatia. Unbelievable. And it's just so much fun now. We saw something recently about that included Venice, and here we were in a gondola going right through those same canals in Venice. It's so much fun when you've been there and then you see it pop up on national television. So stay tuned, and right after this break, we're going to come back with Jim and Adam and Julie and the big king mackerel.
For everything you need on or off the water, visit the Panama City and St. Andrews Marinas. Both locations provide you with easy access boat slips, ramps, fuel, bait, and tackle. Come visit our ship stores and see our unique nautical gifts and clothing, or just relax with a cool drink and grab a snack while watching the boats come in.
Don't forget that mariner on your shopping list. Come by and see our unique nautical gifts, cards, and clothing at Panama City or St. Andrews Marina. Call 872-7272 for more information.
Meet Henson Hindenburg, king of the road at Baytown Tire, 2609 West 15th Street, just before the curve. For 20 years, he's taken care of your cars, trucks, and commercial vehicles. Baytown Tire carries tires including Michelin, Yokohama, BF Goodrich, and Uniroyal. A new set gets free rotation every 6 months. Alignment is done on the latest digital equipment, and his diagnostic can read all your computer info for proper repairs. All his service folks are ASE certified. Give him a call today at 873-8900.
Hi folks, Larry Lee here at Coin and Bullion Reserves. The Swiss government has requested that the Federal Reserve return to it all of the gold bullion which it has long had deposited at Fort Knox. Do they know something you and I don't? Well, I think I do know. And I think it may be time for you to consider buying some gold and silver too. And no one will sell you gold and silver cheaper than Coin and Bullion Reserves. And you can take that to the bank.
Coin and Bullion Reserves.
How will the new healthcare regulations affect you? Call Mike Nichols at Nichols & Associates, your local Florida Blue agency for the answers. Stop by today or call 747-0288.
Need a storage shed, pole barn, or garage? Who do you call? Two-time site-built buildings. They come completely prefabbed with aluminum siding and 3/4-inch floors. Constructed on your property by James McConnell and his crew. With no middleman, his prices is lower, and with easy payment terms. Here's my 12-foot by 20-foot shed that went through a 3-foot gate and anchored like a mobile home. He's been building here for 15 years. See the samples at 3822 Highway 98 in Springfield, and call today at 850-257-5729. When you want your lawn to go from this to this, you need to call Leroy Dennis and his helper Bill Grimes. They can do it in one day. Not only that, but Leroy offers discounts to seniors and active and former military. He and his partner can handle any commercial jobs. Don't wait to give them a call at 358-6696. Guess what? If you aren't satisfied, I'll pay for it myself. Don't delay. Call the experts now and look great tomorrow.
Big king, man. Huge king, Jim.
You come over and have Julie so you'll be able to see the fish.
That is a huge king.
It's a big king.
You ready, Jim? He's gonna run. He's gonna run. He's probably about at least 30 pounds. Let him run when he wants to run. If you really want to catch him, I'd back your drag down.
I don't know where he went. Oh, there he is.
Ooh! Is it a king or barracuda?
That's a king. That's a huge king. If I would have grabbed that rod, I'd have first place king division. Look at the size of that smoker right there.
You getting him?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Looks like we broke the tip. That's 2 rods and 1 trip. Yeah, that fish is probably over 40.
It's the biggest one I've caught.
Oh, that fish is huge.
Watch your toes.
Look out. Come in, back up, back up.
There you get it.
Yeah, there we go.
See him, watch out. Slide around. I'll stand next to you. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he's too big. Oh my goodness.
I'm trying to get in there to get,
Oh man,
get a picture of it.
I'd like to get a weight on that guy right there.
Yeah, really.
It's probably over 40 pounds.
It's big.
Jim, the pliers are right in there. If you want to grab it, we can maybe save this fish before he dies. The pliers are right in there.
Well, hang on, I gotta get a still picture. You can stop
This fish is gonna.
Stop.
Yeah, this fish is gonna
until
die.
I get in there with him. Ow. The biggest king I've caught is it the biggest one you've had on the boat?
Probably second biggest.
Really?
But
Wow.
this is a nice fish, and this is the first fish of the day. So
Wow.
it's definitely a good start for sure.
Yeah, if Julie, thanks Julie, and if you find, can she find the pliers for us?
Yeah,
You want me to find the pliers?
Off and get some pliers.
Here, I'll shut it off and find the pliers.
Okay, pliers. Honestly, need some cutters. Them are so good. There we go.
Took care of it. All right, believe it or not, we're going to let this fish go. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, you can have the honor.
Here he goes.
Whoa. My gosh. Adam, that's a high fiver.
Here he goes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Great guide job. Hey, Julie is on our number 2 fish over here. I think it's bigger than mine, Julie.
I don't know about that. Yours is pretty big.
Fucking line, okay, reel.
See if you can get that gimbal down into the peg down there, Adam, in the rod holder. There you go. Is he running again?
What's that?
Is he running again?
I think so.
Better?
Almost in the same spot.
Yeah. Pull up and go down, baby.
And this is your first day out in the boat,
Yeah, on the new boat.
in the new boat,
Yeah,
after being home with little baby Tyler.
right.
Okay, real quick, reel. You're getting a lot of slack. There you go.
Good fish coming.
Reel.
Sure you don't want me to cook king mackerel au gratin for dinner,
Sounds good.
huh?
I said that sounds good.
It's up to you. It's up
Maybe
to
walk
Adam.
around the right. Walk around the right.
Oh, that rod.
I don't mind.
It'll be up to you, Adam. If we want to do that, you'll have to bring him aboard.
What was that there, Jim?
I'd say if you want to do that, you'll have to bring him aboard. We got all the stuff at home. Plenty of mushrooms and onions and garlic.
Hi folks, Larry Lee here at Coin and Bullion Reserves. The Swiss government has requested that the Federal Reserve return to it all of the gold bullion which it has long had deposited at Fort Knox. Do they know something you and I don't? Well, I think I do know. And I think it may be time for you to consider buying some gold and silver too. And no one will sell you gold and silver cheaper than Coin and Bullion Reserves. And you can take that to the bank.
Coin and bullion reserves.
Meet Henson Hindenburg, king of the road at Baytown Tire, 2609 West 15th Street, just before the curve. For 20 years, he's taken care of your cars, trucks, and commercial vehicles. Baytown Tire carries tires including Michelin, Yokohama, BF Goodrich, and Uniroyal. A new set gets free rotation every 6 months. Alignment is done on the latest digital equipment, and his diagnostic can read all your computer info for proper repairs. All his service folks are ASE certified. Give him a call today at 873-8900.
The Captain Anderson makes fishing a breeze. There's a galley on board, and your comfortable trip is all-inclusive. Rod, reel, tackle, bait, and your fishing license. The traditional all-day trip from 7 to 5 p.m. Come aboard the Captain Anderson for a relaxing day of bottom fishing. There's plenty of room, so bring the whole family. It's a whopping big adventure, and that's no fishtail. The Captain Anderson is located at Captain Anderson's Marina, where the fish are always biting and the kids are always smiling. Please call for cruise schedules.
When was the last time you took a few minutes out of your busy schedule to enjoy the simple things? The wide open spaces, the uncharted territory, the moments that seem to stick with you for a lifetime. Well, what are you waiting for? Half hitch. Get out there.
How will the new healthcare regulations affect you? Call Mike Nichols at Nichols & Associates, your local Florida Blue agency for the answers. Stop by today or call 747-0288.
Need a storage shed, pole barn, or garage? Who do you call? Two-time site-built buildings. They come completely prefabbed with aluminum siding and 3/4-inch floors. Constructed on your property by James McConnell and his crew. With no middleman, his prices is lower, and with easy payment terms. Here's my 12-foot by 20-foot shed that went through a 3-foot gate and anchored like a mobile home. He's been building here for 15 years. See the samples at 3822 Highway 98 in Springfield and call today at 850-257-5729. When you want your lawn to go from this to this, you need to call Leroy Dennis and his helper Bill Grimes. They can do it in one day. Not only that, but Leroy offers discounts to seniors and active and former military. He and his partner can handle any commercial jobs. Don't wait to give them a call at 358-6696. Guess what? If you aren't satisfied, I'll pay for it myself. Don't delay. Call the experts now and look great tomorrow. Well, I tell you, it was really fun catching that fish. I wish I'd been able to do it in one of these tournaments I've entered, but that's always the way. But now we've got some video of part of our absolute fantastic cruise and adventure in Italy, Croatia, starting out in Barcelona, Spain, and please join us and go on a cruise with us. Well, here we are on the top deck of our ship. The entrance to Venice through one of the canals. More canals. These are all man-made. This is Venice. Venezia. Here's our first gondola. I can't hear him singing, can you? Oh, solo mio. Here is St. Mark's Square. Look at all the gondolas. We'll be having dinner there tonight, son. Bella, bella. Yeah.
And that must be the cathedral, St. Mark's Cathedral.
Comes the water taxi.
Seems like them little children waving those through the boats.
Look at that, another private yacht, Corinthia. And now we're coming up into the main ship docks. A lot of big cruise ships in here right now. I guess they'll find space for us. Under one of the magnificent canals of Venice. We're getting into the work part of the port now.
Boat from Panama, Jim.
Yeah. Wave again now.
We're done waving.
Here's that tugboat that got us straightened out in the canal. Oh, the little boat up there looks like it might get squished. Here we are in Venice on our first day.
We're going on the panoramic Venice, and it's going to show us a big overview of everything that we can see in Venice.
And here's our ship over here on our port side.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
All right, thanks for joining us again for another edition of Jim's FNN Fishing News Network, and we sure do appreciate it. And you know, we've got history coming up in September when the Lady Anderson finally departs Panama City and heads for New England. It'll be a great loss to the community, and it's been around, I think, for 40 years, and this is the 40th year. So that's something we all want to certainly say goodbye to and thank you and bon voyage.